My mother, moja mama, Hrvatica.
Ja, aha.
Moje tata, Francuz.
Francuz, bon.
Hey, welcome to Easy Bhakti. I'm Cyril or Chandra, and this is a channel dedicated to the understanding and practice of Bhakti Yoga. Each time I come to Croatia, I have a sort of a bittersweet experience because my mother was from Croatia and she passed away in 2003, and so every time I come here, naturally, you know, I think of her more than usual, and so this video is about my mother, but more generally about departed ones, and how do we deal with departed ones, and how do we have a sort of a broader spiritual understanding of the issue of, you know, loved ones who are no longer with us. To be perfectly honest, I miss my mom. I miss my mom a lot. She passed away after getting cancer, and within a year she was gone. It was really tragic. She got cervical cancer, and it just came upon her just so quickly, even though she was going to the, you know, gynecologist, as you're supposed to do every whatever X months, and that cancer just slipped through the cracks, and within no time, you know, she was hospitalized, and then she just left. I was just 30 years old and she was only 59, and it's especially difficult for me because when she passed away, I was in a phase of my life where I was kind of like I would say somewhat of a fanatical new convert to a new spiritual tradition. I was still like living as a monk, and I hadn't sort of graduated out of that ashram life and moved on to go back to, you know, to the University of California, and then to Oxford, and then, you know, doing all the stuff that I do now in terms of sort of trying to modernize the Krishna Bhakti tradition. So she never got to see that, and I never got to share that part of my life with her. So I feel a pinch, you know, in my heart when I come to Croatia and I think of my mom. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna reminds us that we live in a temporary world, in a transient world where nothing really substantial remains. On the contrary, everything is ephemeral, including our body. That's just a fact of life. We live in temporary bodies in a temporary world, so we can't expect relationships down here to last forever, because they don't. They just don't. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, we find the story of King Chitraketu, who, according to the story, had hundreds and thousands of wives, really wanted a son, and he just couldn't beget a son. That was his karma. And so one day, a great saint called Narada came in, passing through the kingdom, and the king received him and said, you know, I'm really unhappy. And the sage asked him, like, why? And he said, because, you know, even though I have all this opulence and this kingdom, I can't beget a son, and I need a son, you know, I want a son. So, as the story goes, the sage said, all right, fine, I'll bless you with a son, but remember, he's gonna be a source of great happiness and a source of great distress as well. So the king was like, fine. He didn't, you know, really think about what the sage was saying. The sage gave him some remnants of a sacrifice to the gods. The king ate it, and then shared that food stuff with one of his wives, who, sure enough, you know, 9 months later, gave birth to a baby boy. The king was super happy. Finally, he has a son. Everyone in the kingdom was really happy as well, except for the co-wives. The other wives, because now all of a sudden that king was, you know, paying special attention to that wife who begot a son, and less attention to the other wife. So, as is natural in this world where greed and envy and jealousy often reign supreme, the co-wives conspired to poison the kid. And they did. They literally killed that baby boy. And so when the king found out that his son had just been killed, he was just like devastated. At that point, the sage came in, that same sage who had, you know, given him that blessing, and he reminded the king, I told you that your son would be a great source of happiness, you know, when the son was born, ha ha ha, and a source of distress. And then, according to the story, the baby boy woke up from his dead condition and then started speaking Bhagavad Gita philosophy and told the king, you know, I'm just your son. I was just a son for a little bit of time. It was my karma to, you know, be in that particular body for those amount of months or years, and now according to destiny's will, I as a soul am moving on to my next destination. And then he offers a prayer to God and closes his eyes again. If we practice this type of mindset, then naturally we'll have and we'll develop a lot more love, a lot more respect for everyone among ourselves. And as a result, our society, our civilization, our planet will just be a happier, more spiritual place.